Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 62. In this lesson, we will teach the student how to add suffixes to open syllables. Let's begin by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list, the sight word study method instruction sheet, the student's card pack, some blank cards, a highlighter markers, and some pencils. For the short vowel drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet, the keyword pictures, and the keyword sentence. For the phonemic awareness drill, you need the teacher instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student. For the visual drill and auditory drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the student's card pack. For the syllable card drill, you'll have to have this one cut out in advance and ready to go on the table for the student. Remember that you can scramble the words or unscramble them as much as you think your student needs. For the magnetic letter tile drill for reading and spelling, you'll need the instruction sheets for the teacher and the cookie sheet with the letters spread in a rainbow shape for the student. You'll need the syllable pounding instruction sheet, the new phoneme, grapheme, kinesthetic discovery sheet, and the sheets for the lesson, which include the scooping syllables worksheet, the single word list, the story, and the 3 sentences for the writing portion of the lesson. In addition, you will have a sort, and this will be for the 4 different sounds of Y. And finally, you might have a timer on the table. You'll need this if you've introduced a fluency element to the lesson. Once you're ready at that point, then you will add a secondary program such as Read Naturally or the 6-minute reading solution. Let's begin with the sight word study method. Student, you'll need your sight word card pack for this one. So take out your card pack, and student, I'd like you to read every word on all of your cards. When you get a word correct, you'll put a check mark in the corner of the card. When you're finished reading all the cards, you will hand your card pack to your teacher, and then it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher will read each word, and you will write them down on a lined piece of paper. When you get a word correct, then in the other corner of the index card, you'll put a check mark. Teacher, you're ready with blocking strategies in case your student encounters difficulty. When you're finished, have a quick discussion about which of those words has been mastered. Mastered words will be removed from the card pack. Then there's space in the pack for introducing a new word, and you'll do this if you have time. It's time for the short vowel drill. This is a drill that will be discontinued once you've mastered the short vowel sounds. If you're still using this drill, then take out your keyword pictures and your keyword sentence. With 2 fingers, you'll trace the shape, apple, saying this is the sound and the name apple, and then underline it and say the target sound, ah. Then you'll say Eddie, eh. And you'll do this for all the target pictures. And then when you're finished, you will take out that keyword sentence and you'll read the sentence, stretching out the vowel sounds as you do it. Let's do the phonemic awareness drill. You're going to need your colored tiles for this one. Take out a tile and call it Z. Can you repeat that sound? Okay. Now take out a new tile and call it E. Can you repeat that sound? Now tap each sound and say the whole thing. What do you get? Did you say Z? If you did, that's right. Now I'd like you to find the E in Z. Can you touch that sound? Touch the colored tile? And change the E into an oo. Now what do you have? Tap it and say it. Did you say zoo? If you did, that's correct. Now touch the Z in zoo. Change the Z into a oo. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get loo? If you did, that's right. Now, let's change the oo into an What's your new word? Can you say la? That's what it would be. Let's close it in. Add a t to the end of la. Now tap it, say it. What's your new word? Did you get lut? If you did, that's right. Not a word that I know. Let's change it into a real word. Find the in lut. Change the into an eh. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get let? If you did, that's right. Great job. You can put your tiles away. Let's do the visual drill. You'll need your card pack for this one. The teacher flashes a card. And student, what are the 4 sounds that this one makes? Did you say it makes ed, id, d, and t? If you did, that's right. Teacher, do about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way and then come back to me. Now let's do the auditory drill. Student, your sound is op. Can you repeat that sound? Op. Now, what symbols go to make the sound op? Write them down and say it as you write them down. And once you're finished, underline it and say the sound again. Did you write down LP? If you did, that's right. LP is a blend. So we have the O of the L and the P of the P. And we just say them very quickly so they seem to blend together. Op. That happens in the word help. Teacher, you can do about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way. Now it's time for the syllable card drill. Your teacher has this one already on the table for you. What I want you to do is read down all the syllables in column number 1 on the left, then the middle column, and then column number 3, which is on the right. And then I want you to read across each row making nonsense words as you go. Finally, it'll be your chance to unscramble those words to make some real words. As you form the real words, remember to discuss the meanings of the words that you're creating and try to put some of them into sentences as well. Let's do some syllable pounding. You'll stretch out your arm and I'll say a word, and then I want you to repeat the word. And as you do the word, I want you to pound out the syllables that you hear in the word. Remember that you're listening for vowel sounds when you do this. If you don't like to hit your arm like that, you could just put your hand under your chin. And every time a vowel sound happens, your chin drops and hits your hand. So that would be a way to do it as well. How many syllables are in re? Can you repeat that? Okay. Did you say 1? If you did, that's right. That's a prefix, re, and I hear that vowel sound long E in that one. Re means again. How about this one? Repugnant. How many in that one? I hear 3 in that one. You can have a quick discussion about the word repugnant with your teacher. How about this one? Devel. How many in that one? I hear 2. I hear the E and D and the E in vel. So a long E and a short E. How about this one? Development. How many are in that one? Did you say that there's 4 syllables? Development. That's what I get. Now it's time to do some syllable scooping. You'll take out your worksheet to do this one. And teacher, you've got the teacher answer key as well there. Student, you're probably going to need your scooping syllables instruction sheet to do this. So you want to take that out of your notebook as well. Teacher, you've got an eye on the time so you can tell the student how many words that will be completed on this sheet. Okay. It's also a great idea to talk about your thinking as you're doing it. We've been discussing Y and the 4 different sounds that Y can make. Student, can you tell your teacher the 4 sounds of Y? Did you say Y, I, and E? If you did, that's right. We know which of these sounds Y is going to make because of where Y is positioned in the word. We're going to do a quick sort to review these different sounds of Y. And so you'll take out the card and just tap it and read it, and then sort it under, is it a consonant, the short I sound, the long I sound, or the long E sound? When we were working on the closed syllable, we often discussed spelling rules and how they tend to happen at the end of the base. In this word here, we've got it, sit, and that's our base. I would like to add the suffix ing to the base sit. So the spelling rule is going to come into play right at the end of the base in between the two. So when I'm dealing with a 1-syllable closed syllable, which is what this is, what is the rule for if I want to add ing? Have a quick discussion with your teacher about that now. Well, in this syllable type, if I want to add ing to a closed syllable that is a one syllable that has a short vowel followed by a consonant, just one consonant, then that follows that 1-1-1 rule. So I would have to double the T. That 1-1-1 rule is a closed syllable rule. Remember that there's 7 different syllable types. Each of those syllable types is going to have its own great rule for how you add a suffix. Remember that a suffix is an ending. What we're trying to do with these rules is when we have an ending that starts with a vowel, we want to, in the closed syllable, we want to separate this vowel I from this vowel I as much as we can. We don't want any confusion that happens when you put vowels close together. So we just insert that second consonant. So we're making it really clear that this base is sit. And when we get to the other syllable types, the vowel, consonant, silent E, which is the next one I'll teach you, it'll become really clear like why we do that. But for now, you just have to understand that's why these rules are coming in, is we're trying to separate the vowels. So we've been talking about open syllables. For closed syllables, we have the 1-1-1 rule that comes into play. For open syllables, well, they have their own special rules for adding suffixes. And that's what we're going to get into in this lesson. When it comes to open syllables, the easiest thing to do is to add ing. When we have ing as our suffix in an open syllable, the rule is just slam it on. So let's read through these bases here. So what's this word? Tap it and say it. Be. Go. And that one looks like it should be do, doesn't it? But we actually, one of the great rules of English is that spelling never changes. So the way we speak changes over time. And this one actually is now pronounced do. So let's take this ing. And if I want to spell be-ing, then I just simply slam it on. Nice, simple rule. So how would you spell going? You would just slam it on. And how would you spell doing? You would just slam it on. So ing is the simplest of all when it comes to open syllables. It's a little more complicated when we want to put things in the past if they're an open syllable. So let's try that now. To understand this, let's begin by looking back at the closed syllable. So if I have a nice closed syllable like this one, can you tap and say this word? This word is jump. And let's say that I wanted to put jump into the past. What suffix would I use for that? Have a quick discussion with your teacher about that. Did you say that we'll use the suffix ed? If you did, that's right. That's how we put things in the past, usually in the closed syllable. So this would become jumped. Why don't I need to double the P in jumped? Can you have a quick discussion with your teacher about that? Well, when we apply the 1-1-1 rule to this base jump, we see that there is one syllable. There's one short vowel, so that's the 1 and the 1. But the last one is there only one consonant? And in this case, there's 2 consonant babysitters, so we've already got a big separation from the E to the U, so we don't need to add a third one. So that's how it would work in a closed syllable. We add this ed suffix to put things into the past. In the open syllable, it's different. Instead of adding ed, we just make a brand new word. So let's look at how that works. Let's look at the 3 very common open syllables that we might have to change to add our suffixes. So if I want to put be in the past, let's try and just put it in a sentence to begin with. So let's say, I will be there at 4. Well, what happens if it happened yesterday? How would I change this be to the past? I will be there. Well, to do that, we make a brand new word. And if I'm the one doing it, I would say was. So that's how we put be in the past. And if there's multiple people, we say were. They were there, or I was there. Let's try the next one. I could say, if I'm doing this right now, I could say, I go to the store. What happens if that happened yesterday? What would you say? I have, this is how I would do it. I have gone to the store. And do works the exact same way as go. So I do it today, and once I finish the task, I have done the task. So I know it seems complicated because you're making these brand new words, but there really is just the 3 really common open syllables that you're going to have to add to worry about, and that's be, go, and do. So if you can nail that be is was and were, go becomes gone, do becomes done, then you'll be just fine. And remember that when you add ing, you just slam it on. So it's really just complicated when we put things in the past, isn't it? Let's look at one other situation. We'll start with a nice closed syllable at the top here. Can you tap and say this one? At, bat. So that would be one bat. But what happens if there are multiple bats? Well, then I would add the suffix s to show that there's multiple bats. In an open syllable, there's a problem if we try and add an s. Look what happens. So I have go, nice open syllable. If I just try to add the s, what happened? Well, now I've created confusion because I've turned what looked like an open syllable into what looks like a closed syllable. So I think people would get confused and read this as goss, like as in gossip, but that's not what I want. So in this syllable type, the way that we make sure that that O is going to be read as an O is instead of adding S, we add ES. So go becomes goes. And same with do. If I had just added an S, I would create a problem because now I've created a closed syllable, DOS. So I want to say, no, this is an open syllable. So we add ES instead of S, and that becomes does. Created a sheet that will help you to remember the different common open syllables that have the different suffixes. So go, do, and be. You can add that to your notebook. And you can have it out right now just to help you. And teacher, I'd like you to use the magnetic letter tiles with the student and just have the student make the bases and add suffixes to make some word sums for go, do, and be. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. Student, you're going to need your cookie sheet with the letters spread in a rainbow shape for this one. Your sound is G. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is O. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your last sound is ing. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tiles and pull them to the middle. Look at what you have and tap it and say it. Did you say going? If you did, that's right. I'm going to the store. And did you spell it G-O-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. Because in open syllables, when we want to add ing, we just slam it on. Okay, let's try a new word. So put your tiles away and get ready for the next one. Your sound is S. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is W. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. The next sound is I. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. The next sound is Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. The last sound is ing. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tiles and pull them to the middle. Think about any spelling rules that need to get applied. And tap it and say it. Did you get swimming? If you did, that's right. And did you spell it S-W-I-M-M-I-N-G? S-W-I-M-I-N-G? If you did, that's correct. Swim is a closed syllable, and in closed syllables, we apply the 1-1-1 rule when we add an ending that starts with a vowel, such as ing. Great work. Now you can move on to your single word list, and then you can read your short story. Teacher, if you've introduced a fluency element, then it'll happen just after that short story. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling. Student, your word is go. Using your magnetic letter tiles on your cookie sheet, what's the first sound that you hear in go? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the second sound that you hear in go? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you spell it G-O? If you did, that's right. Now I'd like you to turn that word go into goes. He goes to the kitchen. So make the changes that you need to make. What do you have to add to that word? Find the correct tiles and pull them to the middle. Did you pull down ES so that the full word is G-O-E-S? If you did, that's right. We can't just add the S because then it would be misread as goss. It would look like a closed syllable. So we put ES instead. Okay, take away the ES so that you just have the base go. All right, are you ready? I'd like you to change that go into going. Add the correct tiles right now. And then tap it and say it. Did you spell it G-O-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. In the open syllable for ing, we just slam it on. That's the simple part of the open syllable. Okay, take away ing, and now you've just got go in front of you. Put your letter tiles back for ing. Okay, so G-O's in front of you, and I would like you to spell gone. This is the past tense of go. Okay, find the correct tiles and pull them to the middle. Did you spell it G-O-N-E? If you did, that's right. Teacher, if there's time, you could do more words in this way, and if not, then we'll move on to finger tapping and writing single words. Student, take out a lined paper and your pencil. We'll do this syllable by syllable. So your word is hazy. How many syllables do you hear in hazy? Did you say 2? If you did, that's right. So let's take the first syllable first. Hay. What's the first sound that you hear there? Tap it out. And the second sound. And then say it and write it down. And then do the same for the second syllable. And remember to underline it, say the whole word. Did you spell it H-A-Z-Y? If you did, that's right. Because remember from our sorting drill, in 2-syllable words, when you hear E at the end of a 2-syllable word, you're going to use Y. Your word is fly. Tap it, say the whole word, and then write it down. Did you spell it F-L-Y? If you did, that's right. When you hear the I sound at the end of a 1-syllable word, you're going to use Y. Okay, here's your next one. Being. Tap it and write it. Did you write it B-E-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. Great work. And here's another one. Go. Tap it and write it. Did you write G-O? If you did, that's right. Now write going. Did you spell it G-O-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. Now how do we put go into the past? So have your base go and then turn it into the past. That word would be gone. So how would you spell it? Did you write down G-O-N-E? If you did, that's right. Teacher, it's time to do some sentences. So you can read out the 3 sentences to the student, and the student will decide the 2 that will be written. After the student writes a word, the student will check the work with chops. Let's do a quick review before you go. What are the 4 sounds of Y? Did you say Y, I, and E? If you did, that's right. What sound does I make at the end of a 1-syllable word? It makes a long I sound, so it says I, as in fly, sky. Okay, the other big concept today is we've talked about how to add suffixes, endings, onto open syllables. Let's look at how to do that. If we have a word like go, and I want to add ing to go, what's the rule for adding ing to open syllables? Did you tell your teacher that you just slam it on? If you did, that's right. Now, how would I put go into the past? If it was an open syllable, I would add ed, but that's not what happens. If it was a closed syllable, I would add ed, but that's not what happens in open syllables. In open syllables, we make a brand new word. In go, it becomes gone. In do, it becomes done. When I want to add a s to the end of go to turn go into goes, I can't just add an S because it causes confusion. So what do? Tell your teacher. Did you say we add an ES? If you did, that's right. Great job. That's the end of lesson 62. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.